Welcome to the Hilarity Ensues podcast, hosted by Donna, the queen of quick wit, and Jeff, the dean of devious double entendres. Together, they're on a mission to find the funny in life using nothing but their critical thinking skills and sarcasm.
Thank you for tuning in to the latest edition of Hilarity Ensues. I'm your host, Jeff, and I have my co-host.
Donna is in the building here. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. Donna is in the building, as always, representing.
Yes.
Brooklyn and CA to the fullest.
Yeah. LBC.
Yes, indeed.
So Jeff, a lot has been going on today, and tell the dear listeners, what are we going to be talking about here today? Because it's getting hot in here.
It is. I feel like Nelly right now. But yeah, this is something that happens every 4 years all the time. The presidential candidate just pulled out. And he's like, hey, I'm done with this. I'm just going to peace on out. Well, actually, he had some help with that decision. But yeah, Joe Biden decided, hey, I'm not going to go for it this November. What are your thoughts?
I was shocked, but not shocked, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was something he needed to do. Personally, I don't care what anyone says. I don't think he had COVID. I just think he needed a timeout because he had a lot going on. He was set to have to speak. He had a debate coming or something. And his people must have been like, Joe, it's not going to go well. You're not doing well. Let's take a moment back. So he said, we got COVID. Not too many people getting COVID these days, but he's of a certain age, so maybe he did. I don't know.
Right.
However, I think it was a timeout for him to really evaluate and get with his team and have people get in his ear to say, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, agreed also with the timing and little suspect on the I had COVID. Didn't he say that if you got a certain shot that you wouldn't get COVID? Pretty sure I've seen that on video a few times. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, I've been hearing about this for about, I think, just shy of a month on alternative, air quotes, news sources. So I didn't really say much about it because most people don't know about them. If I bring it up, they look at me crazy. But sure enough, they called this at least a month in advance. Yeah. It is insane. So I'm like, well, what are y'all going to do? I mean, that was probably your strongest candidate. Is the plan to win or just to put like a sacrificial lamb out there at this point?
Well, here's the deal. Because from what I understand is that they can pull him out and replace him with someone else. But Kamala has to stay on the ticket. Mm-hmm. And it has to do with the donors, them donating to the party.
Yep.
And they donated to that team. So she has to remain on the team. Me personally, if I was her and they were trying to push me up for that, I would say no, thank you.
Right.
And here's why. She has sat in the shadows for the last 4 years. Granted, people, they've read off policies and things that she's done. But you know what? Regardless of what she's done, it has not hit the news cycle. No one knows. So they kept her like a side chick. No disrespect. But they kept her in the shadows like she was some side chick that, I used you to get into office. And now, we're going to put you off to the side. And now you want to resurface her back. I don't think it would be good for her. So they have to get somebody else. All this crap about people talking about Michelle is running. Michelle ain't running. Mm-mm. Michelle is out here living her best life, wearing her African Bantu braids, that she ain't taking them out to flat iron and silk press that hair no more for the American people. She ain't doing it.
No.
And a black president and a black vice president, America definitely ain't ready for that. No. I'm just saying.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, once they said her, I was like, nah, she's not interested. She saw what they had to do for 8 years. It was insane. So yeah, I'm sure they had a sigh of relief when it was time to get on out of there.
Yeah.
So definitely not her. I've been hearing Clinton's name a few times.
Hillary?
No.
Who?
Hillary?
No, yeah. That ain't happened. No, that ain't happening.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think she want to be bothered with that either.
I don't think she wants to be bothered with. I know they've thrown Gavin Newsom into the mix.
Ooh, no, thank you.
You know what? He might have a chance. You know why?
Yeah.
My daughter said something that is so true. She called it pretty politics. And it's kind of like pretty girl or pretty guy syndrome. You get
Mm-hmm.
away with a lot when you're attractive. Okay? Obama, very attractive, very charismatic man. He was bombing people, he was deporting people, he was doing all kinds of stuff in office. But he was an
Yeah.
attractive man, so he kind of got away with it.
Right.
Bill Clinton, he was having interns under the desk, messing up Gap dresses, but he kind of got away with it. He's an attractive man.
All right.
You
How do
know,
you explain GW though?
GW, which one, senior or junior?
Junior. Or see, the younger one.
The young,
W.
I don't think he got a.
Mm,
He wasn't. He wasn't an unattractive man. He was
okay.
younger, so when he first got into office, he's an attractive man. Now, Joe ain't getting away with Jack because he looked
Mm-mm.
like the crypt keeper right now.
Yes, he does. Yep.
Trump is not getting away with nothing because
Mm-mm.
he's round like an apple with
Right.
the comb over. Gavin Newsom, another attractive man that could kind of get in and get away with a lot. And that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think he would have the ability to kind of push the envelope and make some kind of change.
Yeah.
Many outside of California are dreading the fact that he might turn their state into another California.
Oh yeah.
But here's what I will say. California and all their issues that they have stem way before Gavin Newsom. And I'm going to say they stem back to when Ronald Reagan was governor of this state.
That's way back.
Okay. I'm going off on a tangent here, but the homelessness that takes place here in California is a result of mental institutions that were closed under the reign of Governor Ronald Reagan here in California. So a lot of the people that are living on the streets here have mental issues. They're veterans, they're people with mental issues, and they don't have the proper facilities to treat that. There is no psychiatric program in this state in place as a result of that.
And what was their reasoning? Just cost, basically?
What do you say, Jeff? 99.9% of the time, it's always money.
The answer is money. And let's be cheap.
So that's that. But I think Gavin might have a stand at it. I don't know who the other contenders are that are out there, but please, for the love of humanity, let it be someone who's under the age of 60.
Right. Yeah. We're not too picky at this point. Just
No.
Are they under 60? Do they know where they are?
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Say your name, spell your name. What's your
Right.
date of birth? What day of the week is it?
Get
those
on
kind
this
of
bike,
questions.
get off the bike. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. Get on the bike.
Walk up these steps, walk down the steps. Okay. All right. We just need the basics right now.
We're gonna give you something to memorize. It's 4 lines.
All right.
Take it away. What were the 4 lines you had to memorize? If you could do that, we're good.
That's a good start.
That's a good start. I'm just asking for under the age of 60. Don't let me get into what I do believe should be the cutoffs for presidents, but that's another subject for another time, probably.
Yeah.
But 60 this way, if he opts to run 2 terms, he's only 68 when he's leaving his second term. And that's around the age y'all should be retiring anyway.
Yeah.
All these people in Congress, in the Senate, that have 1 foot in the grave and 1 on a banana peel, they need to retire.
Yes, they do. Yes, indeed. Yeah, there's a few of them. There were a couple that were in their 90s, right? One just passed. Was it Feinstein? She was 90 something, right?
Yeah, she's 90 something. There's a senator. There was a senator that just passed. It was a Black woman. I can't remember her name. She was 74. She served like 40 years in office. I'm like, you shouldn't be working at 74.
Right. And how are they serving so long? Like, why does the president get just 2 terms? All these Congress people are getting like 20 terms, like a ridiculous amount.
It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous. It doesn't make sense at all. There needs to be term limits, and there needs to be a minimum and a maximum age to run,
Yeah, that's a true story.
and an age where you have to retire at.
No
I
matter
always
what.
say this: we as ordinary citizens, they're pushing us out the door at 65. You know, and even with raising of Social Security to 67, they're trying to get us out. So if we can't work until we're 67, 70, why, as a congressman, a senator, or as a president, you're able to work?
Yeah, it's not fair.
That
Not a
it's
fair
not
deal.
fair. It's not a fair deal. And you, as the person that represents the people, should recognize that as well. Ageism takes place, but when you're an elected official, be like, nah, you're good.
Yeah, that's our old buddy. We've known him for 40 something years.
You
He's
know?
good. I mean, he did go into the wrong bathroom and the wrong car, trip over some stuff, but he's still our homie. He's good.
Yeah.
He's just sick or something.
And I think there's a certain degree of selfishness when you choose to sit in those seats for so long. They said on CNN today that Joe Biden's decision to step down was an act of unselfishness. And I'm like,
Mm,
yes and no. I mean, an act of unselfishness would have been after he got in office, him saying, you know what, I'm gonna step aside and I'm gonna turn this over to Kamala.
right.
That would have been unselfish.
Yeah, he was definitely talked into it. They've been calling for it for a while, and as you mentioned earlier, the donor class, the ones that really run the country,
Hmm.
they made that decision. They're like, "Hey, we put this money into this bill or this ticket, and we
Hmm.
got to stay there. But Joe, you got to go."
So here's another one. Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh yeah, she's old school. She's up there too.
Yeah, she was a Supreme Court justice. She died. She died in 2020. So this was after Obama left office. This was when Trump was in office. And from my understanding, Obama tried to convince her to retire, and she would not retire. She died when she was 87 years old. So she was well in her 80s when Obama was in office, and she didn't want to retire. So what happens? She died
Hmm.
while, you know, in her chair, in her position during Trump's presidency, and he got to choose now her replacement.
Yeah, it makes a big difference in how things are decided.
Yeah, as opposed to if she had stepped down, you know, if she had stepped down during the Obama administration, we would have seen a different composition of the Supreme Court justices rather than what we have now. Roe versus Wade might not be a topic of discussion
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
at this point.
It was a big deal. I remember when that news came out, and I was like, "Whoa! Like for real? That was untouchable."
Nope, nope, nope. We're entering into the Handmaid's Tale out pretty soon.
Yeah, we're already in the Brave New World time.
Okay.
Aldous Huxley.
Yeah. So, and I say this as a woman, I have no skin in the game because my factory, all of the equipment is no longer in service. So it's not like I'm of childbearing age and I have some skin. But I do believe that a man should not have the right to tell a woman the things she can or cannot do to her body. And if you want to look at it from a theological point of view here, is that that's between her and whatever God she serves to hash out.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I never got that people felt that they had the right to tell somebody else what to do with their unborn, their fetus
mhm.
or what have you. I mean, within reason, of course, but yeah, it just never. Well, I didn't have any kids, so it never resonated with me. But it just still didn't make sense overall. Just have some old dude in a robe, mainly a group of old dudes for the most part, and maybe one or two women saying, "Nope, you can do this or you cannot do that." It didn't sit right with me.
A lot of things are shifting right now, and times are changing. People, times are a changing.
Yeah, every weekend it seems like now. I was talking to one of my buddies. I said every other weekend we got to be on the lookout for the news. If something crazy happens on one day, then like 8 days later, something else. It's just insane just to think about that when you take a step back.
I think it's Sometimes I think it's intentional. It's like, how can we spice up the news cycle? What can we do? We're not in the news. This is not trending. Boom, let this happen.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're in the news cycle again. Things are
Yeah.
dying off. Let's throw something else out there.
That was wild. I mean, this one I kind of foresaw a bit. The other part, I actually can't remember when I said it, but yeah, I was kind of like, yeah, they're probably going to try to take him out just based on what was happening beforehand. So, yeah, everybody got to be careful, you know?
My daughter was watching a show, and I think it's called The Boys. It's on Netflix or HBO, one of those things. And they had an episode that aired recently about a guy running for office, that there was an attempt on his life.
Okay.
And, these episodes were filmed months ago. So when it goes the week before they normally run the trailer for the next episode. And the next episode was when there was an attempt on Donald Trump's life. They never ran the trailer because it had that episode where they would run the trailer was like the day after, I think, the attempt on his life. So when they finally went to air the episode, they had this huge disclaimer about the show being filmed and it's fictitious and it's not based on any true facts. And I was like, wow. But if writers are creative. If you go back and you watch episodes of South Park, I think there's an episode where Donald Trump is president.
Probably. Also in The Simpsons as well.
Yeah. Or
But
maybe it
it's
was
crazy.
Simpsons. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
animation. But yeah,
But
they those minds, they had the forethought to kind of think ahead and say, this is so stupid if this was to happen. And you know what we did? We played out an animated series.
yeah, life imitating art.
Yep.
It is for certain. Yeah, there are a bunch of those, and it's going back to the disclaimer. That's for the people who don't know how to critically think. Like they would just look at the timing and go, "Y'all made this up." Like if you think about it, if it just happened the day before, how are they going to put it all together in one day? Edit
Yeah.
it, do all the production, the post production, the whole 9 yards. However long it takes to do that. I know they can't do it in 24 hours.
Let me tell you, even Tyler Perry, who's known in the industry of slapping movies and shows together in a short window of time, not even Tyler Perry Studios could have done that quickly.
That was impressive. But yeah, that is it's somewhat of annoying. Just that whole thing where you have to put the disclaimer on for adults. It's just to me, it's like, come on now, y'all can't figure that out. You should not really be, in the rest of the world with us. You need to be somewhere else in a special location. Or somebody takes, feeds you or something, put your Pampers on.
We have a special bus for you. It's a very short bus. We're going to put you
Yes.
on it. We're going to take you someplace. As I digress, but yes.
Oh man, it's so just the over editing. I might go on the tangent real quick, but here's one. We were both familiar with Biggie Smalls,
Yep.
and we're old enough to know that the World Trade, got blown up or destroyed more than once. Because I forgot the year, but it was prior to Biggie, blowing up, and he said, "I'm about to blow up like the World Trade,"
Mm-hmm.
and that "It's All Good" song. So right after 2001, that song comes on. They edit out that part on the radio, and I'm like, "What the?" I understand, some stuff happened, and it was tragic and ridiculous, insane amount of lives lost. But did you have to? I don't know.
Did you have to mess up a good song to
Yes.
steal some feelings?
Right. I was like, the World Trade. I mean, yeah, we know what it's about. I mean, people who are listening to it are probably figured out this is prior to, 93. It was back in the day. But anyway, that was just one I just thought of right now off the cuff. I'm like, it was really annoying.
I agree.
Just let it ride. We're adults. We can handle it.
Okay. So as we circle around the block back now, who do you think is going to be our Democratic nominee?
Probably Gavin Newsom, I think. I don't know. But yeah, probably him.
What about Pete Buttigieg?
I think he was a good candidate at one point. Something happened. I can't remember what it was. If it was some kind of accident, not a slur, but something happened where he did not look good in the public eye. I forgot what it was, but at one point I would have said yes, but I think Gavin. But I think Pete is a good speaker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I don't know him personally, but he seemed like he was decent at what he did.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
Mm, yeah, he might appeal to a certain demographic, and I don't mean the LGBTQ.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
thought
I
you were
don't. I
talking
don't. No, he's young. He's an attractive man. What's his name? Beto O'Rourke, guy from Texas.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot about him.
Yeah, I would actually. He actually, I think, would be a great candidate. Um, but again, he's more of a grassroots kind of politician. I don't know how it would pan out for him, but
Yeah, I don't remember that name in the last several months. I mean, they have to factor in, the recency and the popularity.
yeah,
Because I actually forgot about Beto O'Rourke. He was
yeah,
going after Pete pretty hardcore, wasn't he?
yeah. He was. He was
Oh,
a
the
good
toe.
contender.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that will
So
be interesting. Well, we shall see. It's gonna be interesting. Like literally every day, just looking at the news. Who are they picking? I mean, it's not November. Will be here before you know it. It'll be so quick. It's about to be August. So
we need to do like presidential candidate bingo and do like bingo cards. Or like some kind of over under spread on who we think would enter in and take bets.
and
Not that
that
I'm
was.
condone not that I'm condoning gambling to those that are listening.
Hmm. Something tell me there is a place gambling on this right now and
people
making crazy money.
people gamble on everything and anything. So I wouldn't be surprised either.
Yeah, because they have the odds. I mean, when they run the polls, they don't put the odds up like an actual like fight or a game, but they do have the numbers saying they have this percentage chance of winning
Yeah.
based on this poll from this month or
Yeah.
this day.
It's all poll numbers. They put up poll numbers. The polls say that this person, is favored X percent versus this person.
That is, yeah, it'll be interesting to see those numbers for sure. Whoever
Hmm.
they come up with, I hope they come up with somebody completely crazy that we never even thought about because it's already a clown show to begin with.
It's like it's our own five ring circus, and it's not the Olympic five rings either. So
Yeah. If Jerry Springer was still alive, RIP, then why not throw him in the mix? He has some political experience
yes, he does.
and
And
very
his
popular.
his biggest mistake was paying a prostitute with the check.
Yeah, yeah. No.
But you know what? I will say this: that was his mistake, but that opened up the door for Jerry Springer show.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
in essence, he should thank that prostitute for creating that opportunity for
Yes.
him to create a show. But Jerry's kind of gangster, as I digress. He died and he ain't leave his kids nothing. And he left his child from outside his marriage, like his wealth or something like that.
I remember that. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. I think he was playing 5D chess, even back to the prostitute days. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna get busted. It's gonna come back. I'm gonna turn a negative into a positive and
Yeah.
have a hit TV show for years and years and years. The
Hmm.
Ringmaster. That was his book, I believe, is what he made.
He was he was the ringmaster. He knew he was the OG of sensationalized television.
Yeah. Shout out to Jerry. I used to watch
Yeah.
that all the time.
It's like I'm gonna create tension on the stage. People gonna break into fight. I'm gonna have a guy on the side that's gonna pretend to kind of break up the fight.
Hmm.
And
Steve,
we gonna
Steve.
Steve. Steve
Yeah,
ended up with his own show too. Then we're gonna talk about why the fight broke out. Why were you so mad? I'm like, why do we have to do that? You know why they're mad.
exactly. What I like is when they fought, nobody ever really bled. I'm like, how many? I've never seen so many fights where there's no blood there whatsoever. Like that's pretty amazing.
Well, as I digress, True T, this guy that I knew from way back when, he was on Ricky Lake. Remember Ricky Lake had her own
Hmm.
show?
I remember.
And it was a love triangle. He was caught in the middle of it, and there was like two women that were fighting over him. And I saw him like a little while after it aired, and I was like, "Yo, dude, I saw you on Ricky Lake." And he had kind of rolled his eyes in his head, I guess a little embarrassed. And he was like, he said, it's all he was and this was way before people got into it being scripted. He's like, that was all he didn't say scripted. He said, we all played that out. They wanted the drama, so we said and did things to create, a spicy show. But the way he responded to me was like, this really didn't happen, but they wanted it to air this way. So I was like, okay, they got you for a check. I see.
Yeah. I ran into some people at one of my flights back home, and they were from, I think, Kentucky. And they told everybody that we even make eye contact. We were on the Jerry Springer show, and this is how it really works. They say they in the back, they said, he said blah, blah, blah about you. Now you come out there and you get mad and you do this and you do that. And they were like specific, like, don't, actually hit them or hurt them, but just go at them and look like you're mad. That's basically what the showrunners were telling them. They're like, okay, say this. They're going to do this. You're going to do that. I mean, it's like, come on now. And people would believe this. I would watch it because it's so ridiculous. But I had friends who actually thought that was real. And I was like, do you see any blood? Do you see any bruising on the eyes? Do you see any hair being pulled? Have you seen what a real fight looks like?
Obviously not.
Unbelievable. But yeah, it was crazy. But they told us, they told the people next to it, the people, anybody that walked near the plane in that area, because they were sitting towards the back. We were on Jerry Springer. That was their whole life. They were really hyped. I was like, okay, good for you. That's very nice.
Oh. Well, here's the deal. You said the key words, they were from Kentucky. They probably never left Kentucky. And so the show was like, we'll fly you to the big city of Chicago.
Right.
And we'll put you up in a hotel.
Fancy
really
hotel.
Nice hotel. So, coming from Kentucky, Motel 8 was what they used to.
Yep, I was going that way. Days in.
Springer shows like, we're going to put you up in the Marriott. They're like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Thinking it's like the Four Seasons in their world. But that's the same thing with Ricky Lake, because that was filmed in New York. And a lot of those shows is that you're getting flown out and put up to kind of be somewhat of a bad actor on TV.
Right.
So maybe Joe Biden will go and do reality TV.
Oh my God. That would be so horrifically bad, but I would watch it just to see and lose track of what's going on multiple times.
To watch it. Hey, Donald Trump did reality TV. I think it's Joe Biden's turn.
Right.
Go in and do reality TV.
That would be must-see TV.
And go in and call people by the wrong name, and
Oh yeah. He called up multiple dead people. I'm like, yeah, such and such. They're like, he's dead. Oh, I mean, such and such. Yeah, okay. Like, really? Come on, man, as he says.
So, Joe, I want you to retire. I want you to enjoy time with your wife.
Yeah, he's put enough years in.
Yeah.
He did his time.
Yeah, he got a lot of miles on him. So, but yeah, that's all we got right now. So this concludes another episode of Hilarity Ensues. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Please make sure to follow us on our social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. If you are listening to us on a streaming platform, please listen to the very end so we can get those download numbers. And
Yes.
please make sure to like. And what else do they need to do, Jeff?
And subscribe too. But
Yes.
also share the show with everybody you know.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Hilarity Ensues. Our fantastic music soundtrack is brought to you by TL Music Productions exclusively for Hilarity Ensues. Be sure to connect with us on social media by following Hilarity Ensues Podcast.